Hi, my name's Hannah Nunn. I'm a nutritional therapist specialising in AMD. I work with clients worldwide, helping them take control of their AMD by improving their overall health. Today we're going to be talking about omega-3 fats. We're going to discuss what they are, why we want to include them in our diet, and why that's not quite the whole story. Now, when we're thinking about these omega-3 fats in relation to AMD, we're focusing on two main types, EPA and DHA, as these are the most beneficial to us. Now, where do we get these fats from? Well, we need to get them mainly through our diet, and the best source is oily fish. So salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardine, herring. Other sources include meat, dairy and eggs from grass-fed animals. So if the animals have been fed on grain, then you won't get the same amount of omega-3 fats in them. They need to be grass-fed or pasture-reared. And if you're a vegetarian, the only plant sources of EPA and DHA are algae, so seaweed, chlorella, spirulina. We can also make our own EPA and DHA from another omega-3 fatty acid called ALA. ALA is found in plant foods, especially flaxseed, chia seed and walnuts. The problem with this is that we're not very good at this process, and we only convert very small amounts of ALA into the really useful EPA and DHA. Lots of things can hinder this process as well. So nutrient deficiencies, especially magnesium, zinc and B6. Things like viruses, trans fats, sugar, insulin resistance, stress, inflammation, all these things can reduce this process even more and mean that we create even less amounts of these two really useful fats. So even more important to make sure we are getting enough EPA and DHA from sources in the diet. So why are these omega-3 fats so important, especially to people who have AMD? So firstly, let's consider DHA. The highest concentration of DHA in the body is found in the membranes of your photoreceptors. So these are your vision cells. It has an important role in retinal function, but it also is protective to the retina. Now, when we consider that the outer third of our photoreceptors is shed daily, you can imagine we need a pretty constant supply of this DHA. DHA and EPA can reduce inflammation, and we know that inflammation plays a major part in AMD. They improve circulation. This is why they're also recommended to support heart health. They have anti-VEGF effects. So just like the injections that are given for wet AMD, they suppress the new blood vessel growth that is characteristic of wet AMD. It's also suggested that they increase accumulation of the macular pigments lutein and zeaxanthin at the retina. So they literally increase density of the macular pigment, and this is protective to the retina, especially against the damaging effects of blue light that causes oxidative stress and drives AMD. The research shows that a diet high in omega-3 fatty acids is protective against both early AMD and also against progression to late stage AMD. That's both geographic atrophy and wet AMD. And this was the case even in people who had been identified through genetic testing as having high genetic risk for the disease. The most protective fatty acid was found to be DHA. So those with a diet highest in DHA, and this is usually through oily fish consumption, had the most protection and the lowest risk. So hopefully I've persuaded you that you need to increase levels of omega-3 fatty acids in your diet. However, this is not the whole story, and that's not the whole solution. The research showed that the benefits of omega-3 were lost in those with a high intake of omega-6 fatty acids. And they also showed that High intake of omega-6 fatty acids increased risk of AMD. So I think we need to discuss these omega-6 fatty acids to find out what's going on. So these omega-6 fatty acids are also important to us and we do need them. However, the problem is that we get far too much of them. And once we've taken what we need, the excess can be inflammatory. So whereas the omega-3 fatty acids tend to have an anti-inflammatory effect, the omega-6 fatty acids are pro-inflammatory. So the omega-6 fats and the omega-3 fats compete with each other in the body. And this means that if there is too much omega-6 fat in the diet and a low amount of omega-3, then we end up with fewer and fewer lovely anti-inflammatory omega-3s in our cell membranes and a much higher concentration of pro-inflammatory omega-6 fats in the tissues. So these omega-6 fats and omega-3 fats compete with each other within the body. So if there's a high level of omega-6 fats and a low level of omega-3 fats, we're going to end up with less and less of these anti-inflammatory omega-3 fats in our cell membranes and more of these pro-inflammatory omega-6 fats taking their place. This is why the balance of these fats within the diet is really important. And we talk about this in terms of an omega-6 to 3 ratio. Now, it's said that our ancestors consumed an omega-6 ratio of about 1 to 1, so about equal parts of omega-6 and omega-3 fats. The Mediterranean diet, which we all know of as an anti-inflammatory diet and a healthy way of eating, this is said to have a ratio of about 4 to 1. But the standard American diet, or the typical Western diet, can have a ratio of up to 30 to 1. So you can see how badly wrong this has gone. So what's changed? What has caused this huge increase in consumption of omega-6 fats? Well, the main reason is the introduction of processed vegetable oils into our diet. So these are more accurately known as seed oils, and they include sunflower oil, rapeseed oil, soybean oil, corn oil, canola, safflower. There's lots of them, and you will find them in virtually every processed packaged food. They were introduced into our diets just over 100 years ago, and they displaced the grass-fed animal fats that our ancestors would have eaten that had a much healthier ratio of omega-6 to 3 fatty acids. So in summary, we need to both increase omega-3 fats in our diet and decrease omega-6 fats in our diet. So how are we going to do this? Eat oily fish twice a week. Use the word smash to remember which ones they are. So smash: salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, herring. And just a note that wild caught fish is a better source of omega-3s than farmed fish. Avoid seed oils or vegetable oils. Do not cook with them, and check your labels when you're buying pre-packaged food. You will find them everywhere. Avoid at all costs. They're highly inflammatory. So where possible, aim to eat animal products from grass-fed animals. So that's butter and beef from grass-fed cows and eggs from hens raised outside, again on grass. I heard a really good saying recently from one of my colleagues: you are what you eat ate. Have a think about it. Include vegetarian sources of omega-3 fats daily. So flaxseed, chia seed, and walnuts. Consider including seaweed, chlorella, or spirulina to your diet, especially if you're vegan or vegetarian, as these are the only vegetarian sources of the DHA and EPA omega-3 fatty acids. These are the sort of things you could throw into your morning smoothie to make it super powerful. Apart from containing the omega-3 fats, they are really, really highly nutritious superfoods. To support conversion of ALA into the more beneficial DHA and EPA, reduce stress, moderate alcohol and sugar intake, avoid trans fats, eat a nutrient-dense diet. Finally, consider taking an omega-3 supplement. This is something you could discuss with your nutritional therapist or other health professional. So thank you for listening. I hope you found that interesting and useful today. If you've enjoyed my video, please like and comment below. And if you'd like to hear more, please subscribe to my channel. For those of you who'd like to find out more about working with me on a one-to-one basis, then the details are in the link below. Please drop me an email or click on the link and book in for a free call with me.